Welcome to our first episode of Black History Month project, where each week we're looking at different people and characters from the past from a Christian perspective. And for the first episode this week, we're going to be looking at, two people to be precise, Perpetua and Felicitas. Now, it's important, I think, that we start at this point, that we celebrate these two women. And if you don't know, I urge you and ask you to please do some more research, find out a bit more after them. This is just a short snippet about these two individuals who I believe is and many others believe has shaped Christianity, but also are very important when it comes to looking at not just Christian history, but also Black history as well. So just to give you a brief snippet, so Perpetua and Felicitas are Roman Africans. So they would have came from Carthage, which is now present-day Tunisia. And if we know anything about history during Roman African times, it was very diverse, and also that Christianity in some parts was flourishing, but also there was much persecution happening. And so Perpetua, we're told, is perhaps the only one of the surviving documents of a journal which she wrote while she was in prison, of any woman in the ancient world. Not the only one, but one of the earliest ones, especially within Christianity as well. So just to let you know what happened with Perpetua and also Felicitas. Two of these women were part of a group that were arrested in relation to their faith. They were asked to renounce their faith, which they denied to do. They were imprisoned. These two individuals especially, as well as the other group, were kind of candidates to be baptized. So they were kind of Christians who had pronounced and declared that they were believers and followers in the way of Jesus Christ, and they were going through the process to be baptized. Now, there was an edict that was issued by the emperor during that time that any Roman citizens that were trying to convert to Christianity had to, they were preventing conversion. Just also to remind ourselves that Christianity would have been seen as a Jewish sect, and so there were different emperors would have placed different emphasis on what especially Jews and Christians could and couldn't do. Some emperors would have allowed Christians to continue in doing what they're doing, as well as many other Jews and different other faiths as well, as long as they paid homage to the empire and as well as to the kind of the household gods of the Roman Empire. But during this time, an edict was given that preventing Roman citizens from converting to Christianity, and so this group was arrested. And during this time, Perpetua had journaled her account in prison, and we see quite vivid and detailed descriptions of what it was like while she was imprisoned. She records many dreams and visions she has, which helps her within her faith. We also hear that her dad comes to visit her, and Perpetua has a young infant son. We're told she's roughly within her early 20s, probably around 22. And her dad comes to convince Perpetua to renounce the faith and to kind of pay homage to the emperor or to the empire, to Rome, so that she can come home to wean her infant son, which she doesn't do. And there's an interesting, one of my favourite parts of the journal, where her dad comes to visit her and gets her to try and renounce her faith, and she turns to her dad and she says, "Do you see that jar, that vessel over there?" And she says, "What is it? What is that jar? What is that vessel known as? What is it called? Could it be called anything else? Could the jar be called anything else?" And he says, "No." And she said, "Well, neither can I. I cannot be called anything else but a Christian." And it goes to show the lengths that she went through, that her dad come to visit her again, pleading with her, begging with her to come home. It was known that her dad was quite prominent. The family was quite established and well known within social circles, but Perpetua didn't budge. And her friend, or some people think it was her servant or a slave, Felicitas. She was actually pregnant whilst in prison, and she was fearful that she wouldn't be martyred. That was one of the greatest things that a Christian could endure, was to be crucified, to suffer, to be persecuted in following Jesus. For them it was an honour, because it was the closest thing to being Christ-like. It was denouncing the world, denouncing the empire and everything that came with it. And one of the rules is that pregnant women couldn't be martyred, they couldn't be executed. In Perpetua's journal, it was known that Felicitas prayed, and she gave birth, she delivered, and gave the baby away for adoption, and she was martyred. I think this is a fascinating story to know that here we have an account of some of the earliest Christians who were women, who were African, and who stood for the faith. And it goes to show that Christianity was very much alive, kicking and well in Africa long before it reached other parts of the world. And I know there's the narrative that Europe came and gave Africa Christianity. Many scholars and many people say it's the other way around, that Africa has had an important part to play in the way in how Christians worship, how we understand the Bible, how we understand our faith, and various other things. So it's important for us to recognise of these two individuals as well. I mean, her journal does go on to talk about the other the other people within the company, but it's important to stress that these two women, who were Roman Africans, who were young as well and had come to faith, stood the test of persecution and suffering in what they believed, and that they've been venerated in the Catholic Church and in the Orthodox Church. These two women are very much seen to be saints and are esteemed and upheld. And I think it's important that we understand and we know about these two as we look back in regards to Black history, and to acknowledge what had happened. So I hope that's helpful. Next episode, we're going to be looking at the emperor behind that edict that was given for the persecution of Christians. So make sure, please like, share this video with many people that you can. And as I said, feel free to find out some more information. I've just given you a snippet about Perpetua and Felicitas. So during this month, even the year, but this month especially, please take the time to learn something new that you may not have known, and enjoy. Until next time, I'll see you at the next episode. Take care.